So it disturbs me when I see so many kids putting on their stories things about, you know what, rip Breonna Taylor, like she was unlawfully killed, like look, police officers are going into black people's homes and slaughtering them. When in reality, this is not true. Hello, and welcome to The Talking Point. My name is Oliver Grimes. Welcome back. If you saw the first episode, it is up. This is the second episode. Today, we're talking about a lot of heavy stuff, but a lot of good stuff, and I think we can have a good conversation today. Before we start, I just want to make like two different announcements. I'm going to keep it under 3 minutes. So, yeah. So, to begin with, our show is now on 3 different platforms. So right now I'm on YouTube, I'm on Spotify, and I'm on SoundCloud. I am not on iTunes yet, but that is in the process. It is waiting for, it's in Apple's hands right now. So when you go through iTunes, you have to let them approve your show. So they're in the process of doing that. I can't really speed it up or slow it down. So hopefully within the next week, we will be on iTunes. But yeah, Spotify, SoundCloud are the audio versions, and then YouTube is the video version. Included with the video version, you're going to get all the pictures, all the quotes, everything that I'll put in here, even little video clips, and all the links to every single piece of information I put in here will be put in the link in the bio, in the description of the YouTube video. So that's where you can find all that. Second announcement is that you can now find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So if you go on Facebook, you can look up the Talking Point Podcast and you'll find it through there. If you go on Twitter, it should be twitter.com/talkingpointpod. And then if you go on Instagram, it will be under instagram.com/thetalkingpointpodcast. Lastly, I do have a Patreon. I created that. If you're unfamiliar with it, it is a website and a platform where you can actually donate to me. And you can donate to different content creators. Now, it's not intended to be something used where I try to milk you guys for money or anything. What I'm trying to do with Patreon is use it as a platform to help pay off some of the expenses of this show. So I'm a broke college student, and it costs money to run a podcast. You know, I have to pay a distributor to actually send out my podcast to different sites, and then I have to pay for editing software and everything like that. So it does become pretty pricey every month, and I'm not complaining at all because I love it and I love doing this. But if you would like to donate, that will be patreon.com/thetalkingpoint. All right, let's get into it. This is going to be a good show. Today I'm talking about Breonna Taylor. Now, there has been tons of news surrounding Breonna Taylor, tons of different opinions coming out about her. If you are unaware, in March, Breonna Taylor was sleeping in her home when a no-knock warrant was served by the Louisville Police Department. I think it's actually the Louisville Metro Police Department. And they came in with a no-knock warrant. They came into her house. Her boyfriend shot a round off at the police officers. They returned fire and killed her in the hallway of her apartment. So yes. Now, the big thing is I think it was last week. It was about a week ago. They came to the decision, a grand jury in Louisville came to the decision that 3 of the officers that were on scene, none of them would be proven guilty for homicide. So basically, the grand jury came out and said, you guys are all pretty much innocent. Okay? In response to this, there was a large outcry. Not only from celebrities, but from people. Louisville last week was on fire, essentially. I mean, they were burning trash cans. They were rioting. 2 police officers were shot. None of them killed, to my knowledge. But again, there was extreme amounts of aftermath, and Breonna Taylor has been one of the biggest names in the whole, in all of these Black Lives Matter protests that have started going on since George Floyd. So today I'm going to be running through some of the stuff. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by showing some of the Instagram posts and the Twitter posts from celebrities about and in regards to Breonna Taylor. So we're going to start off. We're just going to go down the list really quick. First one is from Hailey Bieber. This is Justin Bieber's wife, I think. Wife. Yeah, because he took her last name. Or she took his last name, excuse me. She posted a picture and said, "Can't stop thinking about Breonna Taylor's family. I'm so sorry, Breonna. I'm so sorry that justice wasn't served. We are never gonna forget the injustice. You deserve so much better than this." Going down, Rihanna said, "I'm just gonna let this sink into your hollow skull." At Daniel J. Cameron, who was, I think, the Attorney General on the case. Moving on, we have Natalie Portman. She makes a remark. She says, "This outcome is more proof that there is no justice in an unjust system. But let us never forget, justice means hashtag Breonna Taylor being alive and thriving. She and the countless other black people lost to police violence will never get the justice their lives deserve." LeBron James, "I've been lost for words today. I'm devastated, hurt, sad, mad. We want justice for Breonna, yet justice was met for the neighbors' walls and apartment walls and not her beautiful life. Was I surprised at the verdict? Absolutely not, but damn it, I was and still am hurt and heavily hearted." Justin Bieber says, hashtag Breonna Taylor. Beyonce says, "Justice for Breonna." Lizzo says, "Say her name, Breonna Taylor." Jessica Alba, said, "It's been 150 days since Breonna Taylor was murdered in her sleep." Emma Watson said, Breonna Taylor. And then Chloe Moretz, another actress, posted something about Breonna Taylor. So obviously, it is extremely obvious that there's outcry around the death of this woman. And of course, I'm not going to come out and say, you know what, this was a justified death. This should have happened. Everything went according to plan. Absolutely not. But what you have when you have so many celebrities, and these are just 9 or 10 that I just picked out randomly. When you have celebrities that are coming out and defending this and saying there was no justice, our entire system is unjust, for a murder that, in my opinion, was completely just, I can't put words together. Here's what happened. This is a quote from the Courier-Journal, okay, about the police report that came out after her murder. It says, "The 39-page report and corroborating evidence do show that Taylor had more extensive ties than previously made public with an accused drug trafficker who was at the center of a large narcotics investigation in Louisville." Okay. From the same exact source, the Courier-Journal says, "The evidence it details includes the results of a tracking device planted on Glover's Dodge Charger." Excuse me, I should have explained this. So there was a man named Jamarcus Glover. Okay, he and Breonna Taylor were closely linked. Okay, and Jamarcus Glover was a highly suspected drug trafficker in Louisville. And at the time of Breonna Taylor's death in March, they had been doing an ongoing investigation into Glover, and they had been tracking him and watching him for several months. So let me reinstate this quote because it wouldn't have made sense if I had not given you that. The Courier-Journal says, "The evidence it details includes the results of a tracking device placed on Glover's Dodge Charger that shows it was driven to Taylor's apartment 6 times in January." Okay? And another quote. "The report includes photographs of Glover entering and exiting Taylor's building. In the application for the search warrant of Taylor's apartment, police said they suspected drugs and money were being held at the residence." So the story is, according to popular media, then the narrative, the mainstream narrative you're going to hear, is that There were 3 white police officers who had a warrant. I mean, I don't even know if they'll include the fact that they had a warrant. They'll say there are 3 white officers. They broke in, they were bloodthirsty, and they savagely murdered and executed a black woman sleeping, like in her bed, asleep. This is far from the truth. Let me state that again. This is far from the truth. The facts that come out from the police report are that Breonna Taylor was closely linked with a high-profile drug trafficker that was being watched by the Louisville Police Department for months. Okay? They even saw him walk into her apartment and come out of her apartment with a box. Now, according to police, I've been doing a little bit of reading into this. According to police, this is typically a tactic that drug traffickers will do with just any like personal mail they have. They'll ship it to a different address, so it might not bring up questions for the feds or for police. Okay, so the fact is, she is closely related to this guy. I mean, he visited her apartment 6 times the month before she was shot. So what the police department did is they had a no-knock warrant. They executed the no-knock warrant. They walked into her house. Her boyfriend, thinking that somebody robbed the house, discharged his weapon, fired at the police, hit one of the police officers in the thigh with his weapon. So the police officers returned fire and shot, and unfortunately killed this woman, killed Breonna Taylor, and she was not in her bed, she was in the hallway of her apartment. Okay? So the story that's real is very different from what you will hear from anyone on the news or on the left. I'm telling you that the story, do even 10 minutes of research, and you will see that the mainstream narrative is completely false. And it shocks me. It absolutely shocks me. I mean, I wouldn't even say it shocks me because my standards are so low for these people. I wouldn't say it shocks me. But it disgusts me to see so many celebrities and high-profile individuals and people who have extreme amounts of power pushing a false narrative and saying that our system is increasingly and incredibly corrupt. Okay, imagine this. Imagine this. You're a 17-year-old boy. You've never really thought about voting. You're not politically active. Who cares? I like playing basketball. That's what I like doing. Politics, not my thing. Never gonna vote. Okay? And then you log onto your Twitter and you see your idol, LeBron James, and he said, "There is no justice. I don't expect anything." Let me get the exact quote. "Was I surprised at the verdict? Absolutely not." What are you gonna do? What are you going to do? You don't study politics. You're not incredibly educated on the subject. But your idol comes out and says that a black woman was hunted down, essentially, and executed in her home. Okay, you're a young girl, and your biggest idol is Beyonce, and Beyonce comes out and says this. You've never done any political research. You've never done anything. It hasn't interested you. But what is your reaction going to be when you see these people? Even Kamala Harris came out. I will roll the clip. Kamala Harris was interviewed on the verdict, and she even came out and defended Breonna Taylor. Let's roll the clip. All right, you heard it. That's what it is. All right, you heard it there. That's what it is. That was Kamala Harris talking about the subject. Look, what I will say is that it is increasingly disturbing to hear high-level celebrities talk about these things and make such a big deal out of absolutely nothing. There was a no-knock warrant that was served. Okay, there was a no-knock warrant that was served. They went in, the boyfriend fired at the officers. Can I blame the boyfriend for firing at the officers? His defense was they didn't knock, they just busted in, they didn't say who it was, they didn't declare that the police were there, and so he shot thinking it was a robber. Now to that response, I would say, you know what? I would do the same thing. Look, I'm a supporter of the Second Amendment. And I've always said, If somebody breaks into my house in the middle of the night and I'm with my, significant other, my family, whatever, I will use my Second Amendment right and I will take care of business. So in his defense, I would have fired at the officers too if I didn't know. But what I did is I spent multiple, I should just say minutes. I didn't spend hours. I'm not going to lie to you guys. But I watched multiple videos, multiple no-knock warrant videos with the body cam footage. And not one of them did they not declare who they were when they broke in. Okay, look, I'll give it to them. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say, you know what? I probably would have done what the boyfriend did, and I probably would have fired at the officers too if they just hadn't made a sound. Because then at that point you think somebody's breaking into your house. So I don't blame him for that. But am I going to say that this trial was unjust and that the police officers should be charged with homicide? I mean, really, it's baffling. And then you see these powerful people. You know what? You might not be thinking, you might say to yourself, Justin Bieber, he's not powerful. Beyonce, she's not powerful. You think of a powerful person, who do you think about? You think about the President of the United States or somebody in Congress or a big business person. What you don't understand is that to Generation Z, to my generation and to the millennial generation, these popular figures and these icons, these cultural icons, have more power than anyone in the government. These are the people that set trends. These are the people that push narratives. These are the people that influence culture. These are the people that influence every single thing about our daily lives. They are arguably the most powerful people in our entire world right now. What so many people fail to understand is that these are the people that drive our entire culture. Okay, these icons influence the youth. And guess who's going to be voting? The youth. So it disturbs me when I see so many kids putting on their stories things about, rip Breonna Taylor, like she was unlawfully killed. Like, look, police officers are going into black people's homes and slaughtering them. When in reality, this is not true. It is not true. And it is evidently incorrect. Okay, look, at the end of the day, these famous people, these people that I pointed out, okay, Beyonce, Hailey Bieber, Justin Bieber, all these people, they are uneducated. I don't know. I'm actually conflicted with the statement that they are uneducated because on one hand, I hope that they are just uneducated. I think they are. I hope so. Because the alternative is a lot worse. If they're not uneducated, then that means that they are deliberately trying to sabotage our society. They are deliberately trying to sabotage us by spreading fake news, false information, and fear-mongering to uneducated people. So for that matter, I hope these celebrities are uneducated. But I think it is a lot deeper than that, and I think it is a lot scarier. Look, I will say it right now. If the voices of the uneducated are taken as fact, the fall of this country will be soon. I mean, I can't make that up. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We are looking at tough times coming up. We really are. We're looking at some difficult times. We're looking at chaos. We're looking at anarchy. We're going to look at, I honestly think, the fall of society. I mean, I hate to say that because it's fear-mongering, I'm not going to say society is going to collapse tomorrow. Okay, but what I will say is that I think we are in for a big thing and it is not going to be fun. Okay? There's so many people that believe this narrative that, black people are being hunted down in the streets and killed like animals. It is not true. It is statistically not true. And I will defend that. My next episode is going to be why Black Lives Matter, the organization, is a terrorist organization. And I will bring in facts. I will bring in logic. I will bring in every single thing. But I will not spread some false statistics, false information like these people have done. These people are waiting for our society to crumble. And you know why I think a lot of them are doing it? Maybe not LeBron James, maybe not Justin Bieber, but a lot of these top people, the top people, top of industries, the top people in tech, the top people in let's say, like the steel industry, and the top people in the news industry. They are so wealthy and so powerful that if the middle and lower classes continue to fight and continue to see conflict, it keeps them in power. Okay? I know that for a fact. Okay? Powerful people. Excuse me, my throat is extremely dry. Powerful people want the middle and lower class to fight. That is how it has always been, and that's how it will always continue to be. Because it will make them more money and more comfortable. Look, I hate to be a cynic. I hate to be like that, but I think it's true. You may disagree with me. You may not. I don't know. But what I do want to hear is, if you do disagree with me, go on my YouTube channel and comment. Or go on my Twitter and tweet at me. Or go on my Instagram and comment. I want to know. Okay, I genuinely want to know what you all think. If I'm right, or if I'm wrong, if I'm fear-mongering, if I'm pulling a bunch of, BS out of my back pocket, let me know. But when I see stories like this, stories about Breonna Taylor, just as one story, just one story that people have skewed the narrative so much, what it does is it loses the credibility of the left. The left has no credibility anymore. Look, if I was a moderate person and I said, okay, I see the left and the right, they both have valid points and both are wrong sometimes, right sometimes, but I think for the most part, they want the truth to come out. And then you see stuff like this. You see an entire story that has been fabricated. What are you going to do? I'm asking you, what are you going to do? And I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're not going to believe a damn word they ever put out again. It really does make me feel some type of way when I see, excuse me, when I see, anybody on the left, any main top Democrat, let's say Biden or Harris or Pelosi or Schumer, they come out and they say anything. They make one statement. They say, okay, this might be the way, I think this is the best economic policy for the future, and it's going to have this effect and that effect. You know what I'm doing the whole time they're saying that? I'm thinking back. I remember when you defended Breonna Taylor, and I remember when you fabricated an entire news story to incite riots and have violence go on. They have no ground anymore. It's time to wake up. They have no ground. And quite frankly, I'm scared, because I don't think anyone winning this election is going to stop the violence, is going to stop the rioting, it's going to stop the bad race relations. I think we're headed for a real dark time. Okay? I think we're headed for a real dark time. I hope and pray I am wrong, but we'll see. Well, I want to thank you so much for watching. I know this was a little bit depressing. I know it was a little bit short, but I do want to thank you for watching. Again, go follow that Twitter, Talking Point POD. Go follow that Instagram, Talking Point Podcast. And if you would like to donate, you can go to patreon.com/thetalkingpoint. I think it's The Talking Point. Let me check really quick. Yeah, it is. Just patreon.com/thetalkingpoint. Again, I want to say thank you so much. I will see you on Friday and then Tuesday after that. I hope you have a great rest of your day and have a good one.